How did you find Mary Kay? Who made this wonderful meet?
Well, first of all, congratulations, all of you beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How exciting. And I want to commend all of you. I'm looking at this unit right here, or this area, and I am thinking, I want to be a part of these women right here. This is the team. This is the group. You guys are amazing. I'd go anywhere with this group right here. I can tell. I don't even have to know too much. I can tell already. But it has been obviously a pleasure just to be on with all of you and to be in your presence. Kathy, you are just an inspiration to so many women. You were an inspiration to me from the beginning. And Jenny, congratulations for this opportunity, because that's kind of how I got started, is being given an opportunity to dibble and dabble and spread my wings as I was moving up. And you're doing an awesome job, by the way, Jenny. Great job. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. It's good to see you, Lady K. Stephanie, my girl, good to see you all. And all of you,
Yay.
just see you all again. It is truly an honor. How did I get started in Mary Kay? Well, it's actually somewhat of an interesting story. And it's a personal story. And I'm honored to share it with you tonight. There was, my national is Chrisette Ellis, who is in the area of Detroit, Michigan. And as you know, Chrisette is amazing. Chrisette was in town a few years back, and she was at a Mary Kay conference. And she was coming into San Diego, California, and she called me. We knew each other in the church world. And she called me and she says, girl, I'm going to be in town. You know, this is what's going on. I'm like, Chrisette, if you're going to be in town, I would love for you to come speak at our church. Just do a seminar, do something, because she does that everywhere she goes. She said, sure. I just so happen to be teaching a seminar on fear versus faith. I'm like, wow, great topic. We're going to enjoy that. So we opened it up and we had her come, since she was in town anyway. She did a presentation. And she also called to check on me, as well as being just letting me know she was in town. I had just lost my brother and my father within 2 days apart, one from a stroke and one from a heart attack. And to say the least, I was devastated. My family was devastated. We were all devastated. And we were trying to work through the process of grief. I teach this, I counsel, I'm a therapist as well. I'm also an ordained minister, elder, as well as a first lady. So you teach, you preach, you comfort, but when it comes to your house, you've got to take a hold of everything you've ever taught anyone else, and you have to establish yourself in that. And so what I did is start to do some self-care. I started reaching out and I asked the Lord to guide me to doing things that allowed me to focus on some self-care, because it was my time at that point. And I winded up talking to Chrisette, and she came, she did the seminar, she checked on me, and I told the Lord, anything having to do with self-care or focusing on doing better as a woman, I'm going to really focus on that. So I was doing all sorts of things, going to the spa, you know, counseling, doing all different types of things, journaling, walking at the beach. I was really giving myself some support. So Chrisette and I were talking after the seminar, and we were talking about taking care of ourselves as women, and even our husbands and our family. And why did I mention Mary Kay? I said the words Mary Kay in front of Chrisette Ellis. Oh, and when I did that, oh my Lord, she just, her eyes got big, and I just asked one question about Mary Kay. So how's the Mary Kay business? You know, how are things going with you? And I didn't know too much about it, to be honest with you. And she just lit up. She was excited. She was like you are right now, Jenny. She was excited. And let me tell you, that excitement and that positivity draws people. especially when there are women out there who are really looking for something to cling on to satisfy different areas in their life. And I have plenty of areas to satisfy that, but I was also adding things. So she started talking about it, and of course she got in there and she was like, Rachelle, you have to do this. You can do this, girl. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really good with cosmetics. I know that's not my thing, you know. And she says, look, we just finished doing a seminar on fear versus faith. And she taught, never let fear be the reason why you don't do something. Let it be because you don't have enough gas. Let it be because you don't have enough money. Let it be because you don't have the equipment. But never let fear be the reason to hold you back in anything in life. So she says also, this would be a good way for you to focus on you, get yourself some things, focus on your skincare, you know, and help other women because you have that platform already. And I'm all about helping the women. You know, the women's ministry is my heart. Family is my heart. So I did. And I jumped into it, and the rest became history. And I honestly look back at it now, and I remember Chrisette said, look, you can do this, just do it. And I have been walking in it, and I'm so glad I stepped out beyond fear, took that risk, and look at me today. I have become extremely successful at a business I didn't even know that I could be successful in. An area I wasn't familiar in, an area I wasn't an expert in, and trust me, I like being an expert in the areas that I teach and demonstrate and work in, and I like to be educated. I like to know my stuff. But I didn't know anything about Mary Kay. And I just jumped in. I held my breath and jumped in at a time I was very vulnerable with my heart, very vulnerable in my mind. And it took me to a great place, in an exciting place, and also surrounded me by some amazing women and men that I was able to connect with. And it was just a very positive experience, and it continues to be.
If you live in fear, thank you for that. That's a true story, because this one is a touching story. Because if you lived in fear, what reason would you have told Chrisette Ellis no? If you just lived in fear and she allowed you to wallow, give one negative reason. We're just gonna give you one little tick that you could have, because that's father, brother.
Yeah.
You would have a legit reason. But if you lived in that fear bubble and didn't have empowering friends, and someone as powerful as Chrisette saying, oh, what one reason would you have said no?
Well, one of the main reasons is I didn't feel confident that I knew the industry, or I knew what I was talking about. And that was a fear, because again, I was so used to knowing what I'm talking about. But also the second reason was time, and already being, overwhelmed with a lot of different things I was doing.
Oh my God, this one. As you went from consultant in your first year, you're winning all the dots, you're moving. As you move from consultant into director, what was your main challenge? What would you say was that you're not gonna go? Because whenever you're winning, that's when obstacles pop up. You ever notice that? When you're in la la lulu loser land, nothing happens. But when you're winning and you're about to touch the Lord, all this stuff pops up. What would you say from consultant to director with some challenges that almost derailed you?
I would have to say, well, I'm a very goal-oriented person anyway, just coming from the corporate world, just always having goals and having objectives and measurable goals. I put it in front, I study it, I learn it, and I speak life into it. That's kind of how I look at it. So the difficult thing was I was surrounded by a team of women, because I wasn't a director yet. So we was just a team of women who weren't used to that. They weren't used to having goals in front of them. So I tried to make it simple. I tried to simplify it to where, hey, look, this is what we need. This is how many we need. And this is the deadline we needed. And every time we would update, I would update, constantly. to the point I just kept putting it out there. I just kept putting in their face, this is what we need. This is what we need. This is where we're at. This is how close we are. And eventually, because it was a difficult thing for them at first, it was like, I don't know if they were absorbing it. I don't think they were getting it. They were just excited to be there, happy to be a Mary Kay consultant, but not really getting, hey, we've got business to take care of. And it was more, oh, let's have some cake and punch, and that's who's bringing what. You know, that was the great culture of it. We were having a sisterhood thing, but I'm like, we still got to get these numbers, ladies. So getting them to really focus on the business part, as well as the culture part, as well as the connecting part, the sisterhood, the brotherhood in there too, because we had a few guys too, and getting them connected and focus on the numbers as well. And once we did, and once I was able to get them to see and kept putting those numbers in front of them and letting them see, I still do it. I still say, hey, this is where we are this month. This is where we need to be. Now they ask me, so how far are we? How close are we? Where are we at? So that is something that definitely was an obstacle, and it continues to be an obstacle for new consultants, teaching them how to focus on the goal, teaching them how to look for that mark, that goal to push for. And you never know what you're going to hit unless you have goals. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. If you don't have an objective, if you don't have, like, you know, this is where I want to be, how are you supposed to get there? And a lot of times everybody wants to be successful, but they don't know where they're going. Without a vision, the people what? Perish. So you have to have, yes, you have to have that vision. You have to have that mark, that place. Where am I going? And then when you get there, you know you've accomplished something because you set a mark. You don't just haphazardly show up there. You're like, we did it. We acknowledge the Lord. We're on point. We made it. And now we can give God the glory in it because we knew where we were going. So it's a very powerful thing. Goals, targets, objectives, whatever you want to call them, is a very powerful thing. And that was
updating them weekly. Updating them weekly on the goals or where the unit is. Is that what helped you? Having a system?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't even, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I was reading more of your accolades. Okay. How do you handle your full-time job, being a pastor's wife, becoming one of the top directors, and like you say, the party time and the girl time and the hangout? Remember, we want to relax and self-care time. How would you put all of that in the bubble and still have time to read your book? Or write your book, whatever you do.
You got my book, Spiritually Desperate Housewives. That's the name of my book. Honestly, I do this very carefully. It's a strategy. First, I learned, and a very wise woman told me, I'm so open to learning and growing. I will never get to the point where I feel like I have arrived, and that's one of my key things. But I learned from a very wise woman who said, if you can't take something off your plate, then for goodness sake, put something on your plate that matters to you, that fulfills you, that completes you. Because if we all be truthful, I can sit up here and I can tell you, and I can whine all day long how busy I am. And you all be over there going, girl, I'm busy too. You're not the only one busy. And I'm like, I know, you're right. So we're all busy. We all have challenges. We all have things pulling on us. We all have things we have to do. But sometimes we can't take everything off our plate that we would really like to take off because we have responsibilities and we have to make that balance. So sometimes I put things on my plate, whether that be going out with the girls or getting a massage, whether that be was Mary Kay at this point, putting something on my plate, whatever that may be. But my key to stay balancing all these, first of all, balancing is not, and if you read my book, it's not necessarily everything is in a perfect order. Sometime this is going to be heavier. Sometime over here is going to be lighter. Sometime over here, but I'm consistently balancing and moving those things around to make sure I hit them. I am somewhat spoiled in the fact that I do have an executive team of assistants. I have to. I have one in the church, an executive assistant in the church. I have one at my job as I am the executive director, and I have an assistant there. And they both interact. They have a master calendar um, that they can both see. They have access to, and they can see my personal appointments, even though I have to be careful. I don't put, OBGYN or something like that. But they both can see. They can see my information, and they collaborate together on what I have. I have counseling sessions. I have all these different things, but they can see my calendar, and they assist me and each other to balance that out to make sure. And I schedule everything. I even schedule my date nights with my husband. Everything is scheduled. I'm not very spontaneous, unfortunately, because of our schedule, even though my husband, he says he is. But we try to schedule everything as much as possible. I schedule my family time. I schedule my downtime. I schedule everything. And sometimes I have to learn to say no. I cannot do that. And I'm not afraid to do that anymore. If I can do it, especially if I need to do it, I'll do it. But if I need to say no, I've learned to say no. I just can't. And then the other thing is I have help in the Mary Kay area. I have a group called the Fantastic Seven. The Fantastic Seven. That's what I call them. And they used to be the Fantastic Four, but I've raised them to the Fantastic Seven. You got to be really good to be part of this team. And that's the team that I have set up to where they go and they help me train. Every time there's a new consultant, I will assign someone from that Fantastic Seven with a good personality match. If they're bilingual or Spanish speaking, if they have kids, family, I match them and I assign them as a director. I meet with that person. I go over that person when we do the orientation. I do all that. But after that, I turn them over to the Fantastic Seven, and they see me in the meetings and things like that. But my girls take care of them one-on-one. And you have to build to that. It's not something that comes straight out. But get yourself a Fantastic One. Get yourself a Fantastic Two. Until you can creep up there. But I don't right now. That seven is great because I can pull from different personalities, and they help me. I cannot do it all. I am not Superwoman. That song, I am not your Superwoman. I am not Superwoman. I admit it, but I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I have to use wisdom in delegating, or I'll burn out. It's a lot. But that's how I find balance. I have help. I delegate, but I also schedule, and I have the wisdom enough when to say no.
Yes, I'm reading the book Boundaries again. I just started that with my daughter. Saying no. It's okay. I have one. So what's your biggest secret to success in Mary Kay? What's your biggest win? And if you can give us a tidbit of your strategy on how you achieved it.
Wow.
I know that's a deep one.
That's a loaded question. And it's a combination. It's a combination of things. There really is no one secret. I mean, there's no way for me there's one secret. But first is, of course, I acknowledge God in everything I do. This may sound like a cliche, but ladies, we know when you acknowledge the Lord, He says He will direct your paths. And your paths, it's plural. That word paths, look it up. It's not path, it's paths. It's several paths that we're going to take in life. And once we acknowledge the Lord in them, we don't stress about the rest because the rest is in His hands. So I acknowledge the Lord. If I'm going to be successful, it's in His hands. If I'm not, I'm going to learn something from this and I'm going to move on. And guess what? It's okay. It's okay. But I usually know when God opens up doors, there's something He wants to do. And He knows if He's going to get the glory, then He's going to make it successful. So, and if there's some glory is going to be come out of it either way, somehow, some way. Somebody you're going to meet, somebody you're going to get connected with, somebody you're going to create a relationship with. There is a reason for everything. So that's the first thing I do. I acknowledge the Lord in all my ways. And I know that all things are possible through him that believes. So that's my number one. My number two, what I would say would be, I stay open to suggestions and I stay open to learning and growing. No one's ever just arrived and know it and knows it all. I'll never forget the day that Stephanie came over to me and just out of the blue, you know, she showed me love. She connected with me. She was like, you know, and I only knew Katrina at that time. And then I had met Portia, but I just knew Katrina really. And all these girls, women were coming in. Everybody was so nice. And then Stephanie just pulled me to the side and she said, hey, girl, listen. I know you're trying to make director. When you make director, she spoke life in me. She said, when you make director, make sure you hit every benchmark because they're designed to make you successful. I was like, what you say? Somebody tell me this.
Bonding.
You mean they are designed? She said, it's a pathway to success. She said, pay attention, hit your benchmarks, on the move, fabulous 50s. You know, she says, it just focus on the benchmarks. It's a strategic way that Mary Kay has developed this so that you can become successful. And they plan for you to be successful. So I was listening to her. I didn't know hardly anything. I was barely a consultant. I was shooting up so fast. I was about to become a director. So I said, wow, Stephanie, okay, I'm gonna receive that. I totally took it in. I wrote it down and I kept that. And I also remember Katrina telling me, Rachelle, stay consistent. Whatever you do, stay consistent. Get a methodology and stay consistent on what works for you. What works for you may not work for somebody else. What works for somebody else may not work. But whatever you find, if it works, stay consistent at it. So I'm staying open to listening to others. The other thing was staying in the details. I watched the reports. Look at your reports. Review your reports. They're like an awesome tool. I first, Katrina told me this horrible nightmare story of how she missed achieving this big award because she was like a few dollars short. I'm like, ugh. I mean, you just don't know how close you are to achievement unless you go to look at your, you know, your reports. And I'm still learning. There's still reports I'm still learning, but there are some that I just go to reports and it keeps me and guides me and allows me to know where I'm at. And that's what I also teach my other consultants and red jackets and director. I just let them know, read your reports, make sure you're aware of where you're at. You don't want to miss anything, especially when you're that close. And have your goals and objectives. The other thing is I've been successful because I have a wonderful team, an amazing group of dynamic women and gentlemen that I built relationship with. And that's just been something I've been afforded to have. I've been truly blessed with that, having relationship with them. And that they're my core. I have floaters, you know, you have some floaters. I'm sure everybody understands that concept. They just kind of float around. They don't really want to be connected. They want to kind of, you know, or, you know, not everybody's personable, and that's okay because, you know, everybody needs their space. But then there's those floaters who just really don't want to be connected at all. Okay. But then you have your core. And I have this awesome, mighty core that makes me successful. And we have relationship and we have connectivity. And we all connect very well together. And I stay consistent. I focus also on my personal sales. I don't just leave that just because I'm a director. My personal sales are everything to me. I'm like, my personal sales are probably what keeps me in my position so well. I'm solid. And I sell to my dry cleaner, my front gate person, the security guard. I sell to everybody in my life has Mary Kay, my family, my friends, you know, everybody in all walks of life. The guy that gives me my my coffee, Everybody gets Mary Kay from me, and I'm not afraid to ask. And that's one thing that I build up on my team. I think last time I spoke, I told you about my acronym ASK, your attitude, seed, and kindle, ASK. And with that, I just say, you never know until you ask. You got to plant that seed. So that's the other thing. And the last thing I would say in that combination, I know I don't want to go over too long, but the last thing is that I maintain my integrity. And integrity will take you into places that knowledge won't get you into, or education won't get you into, but your integrity will. So that's.
Yes, and that's a powerful list. Hopefully I'm taking notes, guys. Be prepared for questions because I just started the calendar thing. So I'm glad you said that. And I haven't made it to the final 7, but I do have my personal team. I have 2 strong legs. There's Lisa and Pope, 20 plus years, and known Lisa for like 7 years, but I feel like 50 years because she lives with me practically. So they have, we're like family. So I do, and you're just hitting everything. Staying grateful. I love it. The delegation.
Good.
I worked well on the delegation. When I started in 2017, I met Stephanie first. Didn't know nobody but Keisha. Stephanie first. I looked at her. I was like an Amazon woman. She said, girl, you gonna get it. When someone, so I know what it's like when someone pours into you. Cause I'm like, you look at the feet and then you just look all the way up because she's really tall. I thought maybe it was it's gotta be the heels. No, when someone pours into you, and at the time I was with PTSD, the mental health, everything, I just was like, I'm just gonna be here because I told someone I was gonna be here. But I wasn't physically there until I felt that love. So I am glad for that community. But that one it's like you're connecting with everybody. I'm not sure if you know, Lady K, when you make it through your storm, where I should be, that's why I like that question. People didn't think I should have been. And where I'm at now, where she should be. Everybody has a story. And then you say what you said, look at me now. Look at me now. See, you know the song, right? But I do want to open it up, guys. Ask your questions. Throw your hands up. But I just have a whole thing of notes, and I don't want to spit back all your words to you. But this is my next training. This is everything. Because everyone who wants to be first with questions, you just go ahead, my dear.
So Rachelle, the last time we met, I was Olive Excellence all the way live. Honey, now I am DIQ strong. I finished DIQ in 38 days. There was a little bit questionable about that, but it's all good. I still waited until I got it, okay? Because a sister girl was on the move. Now, I'm currently in the first month of On the Move. So yes, we've already got our production done. I already have my first qualified. So I'm like, I feel you. But my thing is similar, just like yours. That's why I'm like, once again, Rachelle is just like all on me because, Bishop was my husband. He was your Facebook friend. And, when he passed away, that shut the whole ministry thing, afoot. But now, next month, I will be actually installed as the minister for both ministries. So, full-time, 5 jobs, you got to do what you got to do, right? So when you talked about that self-care part, right? I actually couldn't do it. I couldn't do the self-care part because everybody was pulling from me. So it's like, I still haven't had the time to do the self-care part. But you know what? I'm using Mary Kay as the reason why I'm doing the self-care because I'm caring for somebody else through their skincare. So it's like we constantly pour into other people, right? So my thing is, I'm learning to have to take the time to deal with me, but I'm taking the time to deal with me by doing my business. Now, I've strategically thought about reducing some of my other jobs so I can do Mary Kay more full-time because I'm only doing Mary Kay like 10%. And it's working. It's working. Okay. But at the end of the day, our ministries pull from us so much. And you look, I know how many like-minded Facebook friends you got that deal with our second jurisdiction, okay? And you know, a lot has been going on lately. So what I have chosen to do is still do ministry, but at the same time, work my business at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yes. And you know what? What I want you to think of too, Lady K, first of all, I commend you. I commend you, girl. I mean, you have to be a very powerful woman just to be on here today, to continue your business, to continue on this path with what you had to deal with. So I commend you from one heart to the other. Mary Kay is not just business. For women like us, it's also our ministry.
There you go.
So that's what I want you to
what
think
I wanted
about.
to confirm. That's what I wanted to confirm. I just didn't want to say it. I just wanted you to confirm it.
It really
is. And when
it gives us that connection, that platform.
Yes.
Because God is not a God of coincidence, and He is not a God of this just happenstance. He orders our steps, Lady K. And Mary Kay is for us because it keeps you reminding you of taking care of yourself, because we're continually telling that to other women. So it reminds us of that as well. But it's also a ministry and a platform to connect with other women and connect with other people. I have seen it. I have seen it develop into beautiful relationship, faith relationships, and all of that. So think of it that way. It's another part of your ministry, not just a business too. So that might help with that for what we have to deal with. But I will say this, there has to come a time where you've got to put that oxygen mask on you. Okay? You can't help everybody else without helping you. Now, you can help other people if you help yourself. But if you're just helping everybody else and not you, you're going to burn out. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be difficult. And you're a vessel of God, and God's plan is for you to take care of yourself. Sometimes you take a step back, just take a step forward. My husband preached a message recently. Sometimes you got to take a step back to take a step forward. Sometimes you have to trim the fat around some things. Sometimes you have to know what to sacrifice and what not to sacrifice. But always keeping in mind that you're the number one person. You're the most important, because you're the vessel that God uses to do all this other stuff. So I would just encourage you to acknowledge the Lord on how to better do that, because I had to do that. I didn't always know how to take care of myself. I didn't know how. I was always for the people, always for the ministry, and then it dawned on me, boy, I could be even more powerful when I take care of this. I could be even more powerful when I get this serviced and then service other people. I could be even more powerful. Ain't nobody gonna die if I just take a step back for a day. Everybody gonna be okay. The kids will live. My husband will survive if I go to the spa. We just have to do some things every now and then, and you have to schedule it in. You have to schedule it in. But you also have to ask the Lord for wisdom when, and I know you're a very wise woman, I could tell already, but sometimes our hearts go beyond our wisdom in service. So you have to ask the Lord, when do I say no? Yes. No doesn't mean never. So just because you tell somebody no doesn't mean I'm not ever going to meet with you. Doesn't mean I'm not ever going to do that auxiliary. Doesn't mean I'm not ever going to come minister in your church or do that. It just means right now I have to prioritize some things, and my health comes first.
Thank you. That I receive it, because I just set a 4-day little mini vacay at the Legacy Hotel. So I'm going there. I'm going to spend that money on the spa, baby, because I deserve it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go eat me some whatever I want to eat. Holla.
I forgot.
So I did book a 3-day, right during the same week as my debut. I just said I need some me time. And I
Oh,
just
yeah,
said, I'm just gonna go. I said, ooh, the Himalayan. I'm like, ooh, ooh. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I need a me day. But I turned it
and you
into a
have
me
to
day
do it.
4-day.
Yeah, you have to
and
do it,
you
and you
deserve
have
it.
to do it. Yeah, and the
Yes.
mistake sometimes people make is that they don't take time to do those things and release. And what happens is it balls up. It will make you sick.
Yes.
It will
True story.
it
True
will
story.
manifest itself. So you got to be careful.
That's
Well,
right.
thank you,
Maria,
my sister.
oh,
I love you. I'm
I
gonna
wanted to
let somebody
mention,
else say something.
yes, I wanted to mention Maria. She popped in. Maria's been an Olive Excellence winner. She's been in her red, I believe. Maria, I saw your hand go up and down. Do you have anything you want to put in? Miss Maria Magave? Good to
Hi,
go?
Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Hello. I'm so sorry I had to step out. I almost forgot to join in, but thanks to Kathy for sending me a reminder. My uncle was in the hospital this morning, and this uncle's like a father to me. So he almost had a stroke, but his blood pressure was controlled on time. So thank God everything is okay and he's released now. But I'm at my aunt's house because you know how it is.
That's
God
right.
first, family second. So I was almost not going to be able to make it, and I just popped in after Kathy sent me the reminder. So thank you, Kathy.
All right, well, I'm
But
glad
I
you're
was
able to
thinking,
enjoy these.
I'm sorry.
I said, I'm glad you're able to listen to some of these gems she's dropping. She's dropping gems.
A lot of
So,
stuff, very, very inspirational. And that's what I was telling my aunt right now. This is one of the reasons why I love the sisterhood and hopping on, because we inspire. Like, there is major inspiration that just trickles down like a waterfall or a river. Then it just feels so a fresh of breath air, especially when we're going through what I was going earlier through the day with the stress and the worry. And now I'm like, I'm at peace. I'm good.
there we go. Sister time with our brother Pope. Senior Sales Director Stephanie, Miss Sharonda, do you guys want to pop in?
Well, I don't have any questions, but I just want to say, Rachelle, girl, you are doing the thing. You are such an inspiration. I love watching you grow. I watched you from the first day, and I'm always watching you. I'm like a stalker on your page, watching you, girl. I'm watching. And so just congratulations on all of your successes and on all of your continued success. And I guess you're going to be going to Barcelona, and that is so awesome. I'm going to claim it for you. So you're going to be going to Barcelona.
And they did a virtual
I'm
trip.
just so happy
They did
to
a
know
virtual
you.
trip.
Oh, did
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I just want to say one of the most important things is that you never lost that sweet spirit. Like, you didn't get like, oh, I'm here, I'm a Cadillac. No, you're still the same person you was before you became Mary Kay. Because I knew you before Mary Kay.
Right.
So congratulations. And thank you for pouring into us today.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And I want
you're welcome.
to thank you so much, Dr. Rachelle Benson. It's so funny as I think back, I'm like, do I remember her? Not like, I knew I was in your space at some point. And it just reminds me of, sometimes we don't even know who we're around. We don't even know the company that we're keeping sometimes. And, we just have to really understand that when God is working in somebody's life, there just isn't nothing we can do about it. But we just can't. I mean, I think for me, I'm speaking for me, like, you don't want to discount anyone. You don't want to think that, and I know that's the spirit of Mary Kay, is, Mary Kay always said that God didn't have time to make a nobody, right?
Right.
He made us somebody's, and we're his. And when you think about that, like, every single person, even in this space, is just so as important and valuable and worthy, and that's what you bring to, to my mind. You remind me of that. And I love your spirit. I do too. And it's funny because I'm the opinionated, I'm the loud one. I'm the extrovert. And then when I meet the introverted girls, I'm like, oh, I will never be like her. Right? You know, but I've always wanted to be that gentle, quiet, spirited woman. But I know God made me like he made me too, right? And so I just thank you so much for sharing your beautiful gifts with us. The Fantastic Seven, the Ask, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that if you can't take anything off your plate, then put something on it that really means something to you. So I appreciate that. I heard that really loud and clear. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you,
You are
Dr.
so welcome.
Chief, did you wanna, I wanna make sure I give everybody. Chief, did you wanna say anything? And that's Jennifer A. We got two Jennifer A's. But
I'm over here looking up the prosper scripture because she made me think about that. You know, I pray that you may prosper in health even as your soul prospers. You know, she's talking about taking care of you, right?
Right.
This past couple of weeks, that's what I've been doing. I had the Moderna shot, the booster shot. Then I lost my dog. All in the same time. And, you know, while I'm trying to find the vet, somebody sideswiped my car and took off my rear view mirror. So it was a triple whammy,
Oh
boom, you know.
That means
Yeah.
a blessing is coming. A blessing is coming.
You know, that's what I always
It's coming.
say. That
I try to
the
distract
devil-
you. You
the
hang in there.
devil
A blessing is coming
upset.
for you.
That's right. He's trying to, the devil is a liar. You know,
That's
what
it.
I always
That's
say.
it.
He is a liar. But when we're not feeling well, we get to, right? I love that word, get. You get to take care of yourself and understand God is who he is, and he's over me, he's taking care of me, he's healing me, you know, and then I get back on track. And when he says go, boom, he's going to give me all that he already have all the tools I need to just jump on and go. And just before I jumped on here, he poked me in the side and says, don't you have a meeting to go to?
There you go.
So I remembered 5 minutes before, but I had just gotten off, you know, with somebody booking a party for next week. So there you go, right?
Right.
So we get to take care of ourselves. He looks at us as his princesses, and he wants us to take care of his precious cargo. So we get to take care of this body that he gave to us, and then we can be that glowing spirit to other women and inspire them to do the same for themselves. Amen. So I know I didn't really ask a question, but I just really thank you for bringing that up, you know, to really take care of yourself and put God first. Always, right? Make sure that you never forget God first, you know, family second, and then your business.
That's
because
right.
you put those in order, then you will prosper, because he said he will bless you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
When it's
He'll give
over.
you an
That's right.
abundance.
When it's over.
Amen.
Amen.
Running over. You know,
Thank you,
so
Jennifer.
we're not the ones. We're not the source. He's the source. You know, so we just.
Amen.
The reason why we can have a good time is because he gives that ability, us the ability to be organized, ability to be great leaders, because he's the great leader, right? And we just follow his lead, you know, and then that gives us that joy, because you know, you got to have joy in your spirit and in your heart. And I think that that's why Stephanie was willing to say that you are still that joyful person, that wonderful spirit that you've always been, because you kept God first and kept yourself humble the whole time. So bless you and bless your business.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
Andrea, are you good? Gregory Pope, Lisa?
We're good. Thank you. It was a great, I have tons of notes.
Yes.
Great. Hi, Andrea.
That's one of the things I'll say you left us with is, I think if the most important, besides order, it's okay to say no. I'm a counselor by trade, switching over here, doing the therapist, but I'm trying to stay away. And I call myself, I like what the mind alignment counselor. Get your mind right. When you think something's negative is happening, flip it, because everything that's happened, especially when I was in the pit, I told the darkest point of my life, came out the military, surgery after surgery, nothing was happening. It was like still waters. But now that I'm coming out, I'm trying to win. All of a sudden, the dog want to be free. This one want to go down. Your car want to be sideswiped. Every time something like that is trying to get you away from looking at your goals. So if you're not as goal orientated as the Dr. Rachelle, you will be looking over here and you're missing your opportunity. You missed car
Right.
by 225. You missed your opportunity. You missed
Yeah.
300 circled by
Right.
$25. Can you
And what
imagine?
did and what did he say? Be still. He says, be still and know
That I am
that I
God.
am
I am
God.
God.
Amen.
I am God. I can't tell you by
Look at
memory,
you,
but I know the
Jennifer.
feeling. So I do thank you for leaving us with that. Self-care is everything.
Yes.
And then you're so
And
full,
this-
you pour over into other people and it doesn't feel fake because you're just so full of his love and so full of the abundance and you're full of the wealth. You're pouring over into them and they want to be in your energy. They want to be around you. Because if I said, do you want to join my team? I have PTSD every day and I have a headache.
Right.
Do you want to join me? Is that recruiting material? That's why, you know, the Lord gave us all what we need. And you said that you don't believe he got you here to pull you out. He gave you everything. And it's the rest is he gave us choice too. And I've made plenty of choices that took away from my original. I heard the message. I had the dream. I even saw the road. Let me tell you, the Lord he gave me the car. All I had to do was get gas, but I found a way to say, the gas is too expensive. You know, those are the reasons how you lose. So I think the energy tonight will keep you here forever, but we don't want to. So I'm gonna pass it back over to Kathy.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny. You did a great job, Jenny.
Woo,
Great
Jenny.
job.
Thank you,
That was
Jenny.
super. And Rachelle, thank you so much. What's your goal this seminar year?
$450,000 as far as my circle of achievement. And at this point, we are moving right along. I mean, it's been a good year so far. We've had some ups and downs, when we first went into the COVID, but we have transitioned, learned to work through some things. So it's going to be a good year. We're already accomplishing some goals that we've already set before us. We're about 80 units strong and still counting. So, we're just going to keep on moving along. I would love
Rachelle, go ahead.
I would just say I would love to say that I remind the ladies all the time in my unit that no matter what they go through, that God has plans for them. And Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that his plans are to prosper us, not to harm us, and to give us an expected and a future, and whatever that may be. And I really believe that we're not here by coincidence. You're not with Kathy by coincidence. You're not connecting to each other by coincidence. All of this is for a purpose. Kathy told me she's a faith walker when I first met her. And I stepped out on faith in some things too. And I remembered some words that Kathy said to me when it came to getting and doing things. So I'm also opening up my suite this year, which is going to, when we finally start coming together, my unit will have that opportunity to have a place to come to as well. So that's one of the accomplishments we've been able to establish. So we're excited. And again, I'm a faith walker like Kathy. I'm stepping out on faith in a COVID environment, but believing that, hey, it's either fear versus faith, ladies. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you so much. And everyone here,
I think Kathy froze.
Oh, Kathy froze.
And
There she is.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No, you can't hear me. No, can't hear me.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Well, that takes us full circle, Rachelle. You started out with, hearing fear versus faith, and you went the faith route, and you're continuing to do so. Rachelle, you are an asset to Mary Kay. If Mary Kay was alive, I knew her. I know she would be very proud of you. I know she would say that she needs you to step up to become a national sales director because you have the heart of Mary Kay, and you
I
will
would
have
love
more
to.
influence
That's right.
as a national sales director. And I believe that you will do it. You have that heart
goal.
that Mary Kay wanted all the nationals to have, of love and peace and kindness and generosity and faith, and you have it all, Rachelle. And thank you. This was the one night of the whole month that she could be here with us, and you so sweet. Thank you so much, Rachelle. And you guys keep up the good work. I've got another
She can say
surprise
she got
for you
another
for next
surprise.
month. Wait until you hear. Just finish up that All of Excellence, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Good night, and
Bye,
nice seeing
buddy.
you. Good night, Lady K. Good night, Jennifer. You know, let's be on channel 13, PBS. Bye, Maria. Bye, Lisa.
Bye, ladies. It's
Bye,
a
ladies.
pleasure.
Good night.
Mwah.